everybody. Welcome to the Shot Clock Podcast with me, Jared Jago. Today's guest is a former teammate of mine. Started off his career with Colester, over to Marion, teammate with me at Denny Notre Dame during the successful years. Finished up his career, cut short due to injury with Talca Rovers, the one, the only. Mr. Randall Mounts, welcome to the Shot Clock Podcast.
Welcome. Glad to be here, Jago.
Good to see you, pal. How's things?
Life is good, man. Like I said, considering the pandemic, man, you just learn to overcome and adjust. The key to it is working on, I would say, your mental health. And what I've seen a lot of people suffering at is mental health. So I'm getting out about I do a lot of cycling. I try to do anywhere between 20 to 30K. I say every other day. About 20 or 30K. And I just started doing some walking too, along my cycling path too as well, So the walking is when I started losing weight too as well. So I'm going to continue that down that vein,
Excellent. And we get to see you back in the Masters, the over 50.
Yeah. I'm hoping so, I'm hoping so,
It'll be good to see you back on the court, buddy. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to go back. We're going to go way back to the very start. What me and everyone else wants to know is who, what, or why did Randall Mounts pick up a basketball for the very first time?
I'll be honest with you. I kind of got involved with basketball as kind of like a fluke. In high school, it was my fifth year because I started very late playing. But at my fifth year, it was the end of the year. And so that day, we actually had a fire in our school. Now, in Florida, if you have a fire in the school, it's not like you can just open the windows because, in Florida, most schools are air conditioned. So, the smoke goes through the whole school. So it wasn't a serious fire. I think, somebody did it, was messing, and students were happy just to get out of the school, So anyway, I went around to the gym after, most people left, but I went around to the gym and I saw there's staff in the gym playing, so it's a fluke because they were one person short. And so anyway, they asked me to play. And so I went and played, and so against the staff, teacher staff. And so I played. And then before you know it, the coach said, listen, why don't you come out for the team next year? So I went to, was it the University of Florida? Sorry, Florida State, not University, but Florida State. They do camps there every summer for youth and stuff like that. So I went there for a week up there and played in their summer camp. But at nighttime, they had the college boys playing, and one guy was named Orrin Gilmore. This guy was about 6'9", 6'10". But anyway, so I did well, man. I mean, all I could do was dunk the ball. I couldn't shoot the ball at all, And I probably had about 6, 7 dunks in a game, So I got the fire, got MVP of the camp, and that's when the fire started, man. And then that's how I got involved in it, And so I loved it. Fell in love with it since,
Look, it's one of those things. Once that bug bites,
it's
hard to shake it off. Even now, all these years later, you still
exactly. Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me now, even like I love the coaching too, just to see the people develop and to finally all the things that you taught, to see it finally catch on to them and they get a hold to it and start playing again and utilizing it in the game for success. It's great,
Absolutely. So, like I said, you played with Colester, with Marion, Denny Notre Dame at the time, and then all to Talca. So, next question is, and this is a tough one because you've had some great teammates over the years. Who's your favorite teammate and why?
Oh, geez, that's a good one. That is a good one. I got a lot of them, obviously. Favorite teammates. I would say Anthony Jenkins was my favorite teammate, and the reason why, because his leadership, his on the court leadership. He kept it very simple. He didn't do a whole bunch of different drills for offenses and stuff like that. And, a whole bunch. He didn't have about 50,000 sets for offense. He had about 1 or 2 offenses, and then what he was teaching how to read and react to every situation. And so that was the best thing I like about him. But also he was very skilled too as well. Very skilled player. Can shoot, can go inside, can go outside. But the main thing I like most of all about AJ was his leadership. His leadership on the court and on and off the court was amazing.
Yeah, I got to play under him for a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I can see where you're coming from. The offenses were simple. It was give the ball
Yes.
to Jenks and get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Michael Jordan rules. Yeah.
Exactly. Just make sure you're available to rebound. That was, that was the step. That was everything. Read and react just to what he was doing. So, toughest person you've had to guard in the Irish Super League, and then on the flip side, who played you the toughest?
Okay. Geez. I would say it was this guy. I actually don't know his name, but he was a Russian guy, about 6'10", and he played for Northmont. And he played for Northmont, but I tried to remember his name. I can't remember his name. But this guy was built like the guy that fought against Rocky, the Russian guy, I'm serious, man. He was big, he was strong, and he had to be. But I heard when people said they didn't treat him well in Northmont. So he just worked out all day. So, I mean, the running, he was pretty much, the first guy I met he was rock strong. And then you couldn't move him, but he could also run up and down, because what I just like to try to do is outrun big guys, you know what I mean? And just outrun them. And they get, at the end of the game, they get tired. So anyway, to make a long story short, man, he was the toughest guy. And then marking me, I didn't probably have as much. I mean, he was strong, but I didn't have much problem as far as him marking me, but just marking him, man, he made me work the entire game. I mean the entire game. Like I had to, like the second time I played against him, man, I made sure that I got my fitness up, I got my running up. I know this guy, he was never going to get tired, like a machine. Like the guy that fought against Rocky, man. He was a pure machine,
I need to find out.
I tell you what, if I can find his name, I remember his name, I would love to remember his name. But he was very tough. 6'10" Russian.
And then who guarded you the toughest? Who was your nemesis?
I would say my nemesis was Gabe Jackson.
Action Jackson.
Action Jackson, man. We used to try to kill each other on the court, man. We went out with it. And if you get a chance to talk to him again, he would tell you, we went at each other hard. But we loved, after the game, we shook hands, had a good time, We actually did a TV show for RTE together, and a Fun Times Kids show, I think Emer, I forget her last name, Emer, but I think she's doing that show now. But it was a fun time, and we had a great time.
Emer Foley.
Is it Foley? Yeah.
Emer Foley. Well, before she got married, she was Emer Foley. Yeah, that's how I
remember. Yeah. Yes, that's her. Yeah. So Emer. But it was great. We had a great time. But he would mark me hard. He wouldn't give me an inch, and I tried to get physical with him. He didn't care. He wouldn't fold no matter what. No matter what, he wouldn't give me an inch, and I wouldn't give him an inch. And so we had a great respect because of that, So Gabe Jackson, the little 6'4", little munchkin. Yeah. He wasn't a munchkin.
The arms.
He was diesel, man. He was diesel, man. And we talk to each other now, even on Facebook now, the odd time. But yeah, man, Gabe was probably the toughest that marked me the whole game, and with the more physical.
Brilliant. Good guy, Gabe. Love Gabe.
Oh yeah, love him, man. I love him to death, man.
So basketball players, we're superstitious. We have game day routines. We post game routines. Left shoe first, right shoe first. Whatever way we do these things. What's Randall Mounts' superstitions when it came to playing, if you had any?
I'll be honest with you. I never had any superstitions, man. I never believed in superstitions. Now, by having a routine, yeah, man. I would basically try to set a goal before the game: points, rebounds, block shots, whatever, steals, whatever, before every game, and then envision it, and then go out there and do it. But not to put too much on what's ahead than trying to live in the now, because basketball is read and react, and because I found out I was getting more frustrated when I was trying to set so many goals and then didn't attain them in the time that I thought I should. So set the goal, but relax in the game and get my routine. Okay, Randall, you got to take about 5 shots a quarter, whatever. You know what I mean? That kind of way. You got to crash the rebound, get your points there, because I was taught in school, and even from high school, because I had guys like you said, like AJ, go get the rebound. So the only way, if you're going to score, the only way you're going to get the score is to get the rebound. So that's what I try to do: set goals, getting rebounds, and stuff like that. So that's the only kind of superstition I would say that I had, is the routine or what I was trying to do.
Excellent, excellent. So, had you a favorite pair of shoes that you like to wear? If you could call whatever company and say, I need this shoe for the rest of my career, what would have been the go-to shoe?
I'll be honest with you, man. And it sounds funny, man, but I'm still a lover of the shoes. My next one is going to be the. Now I always like Air Jordans. The Jordans, the Nike Jordans. And the next one I'm trying to get now is if I find one in my size, the Jordans 20. So if you hear anybody talk about a size 14 and a 14 UK and the Jordan 20, give me a shout.
Mike, if you're tuning in,
exactly.
Randall needs a pair of shoes.
But yeah, the Jordan series, Nike series, I love. I got about 2 or 3 of them now, but I got a few more. But yeah, I'm not playing these days, so it's only for show and sport. You know what I mean? That kind of way. And I play the odd time with the college team, TUD. When they get cocky and stuff like that. Which is good. Because you said that the old head still knows more than the young runner.
Absolutely. It's all about brains. It's all about smarts.
Exactly.
So you played with some great players over the years. You played against some of the best players to play in Ireland. It's you and 4 others going to the gym for a pickup game. Winner stays on. Who's Randall taking with him?
That's a good one, man. One player I would say that who I would always, because Gerald Kennedy. I don't know if you remember Gerald.
I do remember Gerald.
Yeah, Gerald Kennedy. And the reason why I would say Gerald, what impressed me about Gerald is that when I played for Colester, I got injured. My second year playing for Colester, I got injured, and Gerald came in. Now Gerald hadn't played for about a year. He hadn't played for about a year, and so he wasn't in the best shape. But so he came and subbed for me. I'd say probably about a week, about 2 or 3 games. And his first game back after I played for 1 year, he scored about 45 points. 45 points. So I didn't know whether I should break his leg because he's going to lose a job because of him. 45 points, not playing in a year. And so I would definitely take him, and Ricardo too, Ricardo Leonard. Now he was a hard man to move to as well, very skillful big guy. He was a Nemesis too, going down to Tralee, playing against Rick Leonard. He was a very Nemesis, one of those Nemesis down there. And he'd battle you. And we'd go at each other very hard too. So Rick's a guy I love too. And I would say probably one of the best guys that probably should have went pro, but he didn't want to go because he liked the Gaelic too much. Lee McHale, yeah. He liked the Gaelic too much. And I thought he should have went there, grabbed it, stayed there for about 3 or 4 years, and get an NBA contract, 3 or 4 years, come back and coach, do what he wants to do, So Lee McHale, hard nose, same thing. I try to get physical with him, and he didn't care. He loved the physicality. Absolutely. He didn't mind it, and we'd go at it the whole game. And all my years playing against Liam, we probably won a few games with him when I played for Colester, but it was one game down in Kalala. And Kalala was, they had a bass drum beating and the fans going mad. And so that was the only time we got any victory down there with those guys. So we had Lee McHale, Diora, and Paul McStay, great battles with him. So Lee McHale was definitely somebody I think in the battle. And then the last one I would say, the guy from up north, Gareth McGuire. Gareth McGuire, tough battles with him. Same thing, the physicality, skill, never say die attitude. And that was Gareth. One time I I accidentally elbowed him one time, and his tooth came out.
Sorry. I'm gonna stop
Yeah.
there. You accidentally elbowed him, Randall. I played with you.
No,
You've never thrown an accidental elbow in your life.
I think we're going for rebounds together, and so anyway, and saying about it, I never knew I did it until he told me years later. But I do know one time he was bleeding, but he came out of the game, he came right back, tooth out of his mouth, and kept playing. So Gareth McGuire, he would be the last guy.
Yeah,
that I would take him to.
that's a solid 5.
Yeah, take him to a battle with me,
Yeah, and if it kicks off, like there's people there that can throw hands as well. Like that's yeah. I take that 5. Yeah, I take that 5. So we're going to change lanes. I know you're a big music fan. So what are your top 5 musical artists of all time? Who can't live without?
See, man, you gotta put me under pressure here because I like Christian music, man. I like all types of music, but I like worship music, man. And one guy you probably won't know, but he's from the States, but his name is Israel Houghton, and to know a lot of the things that he went through in life and to overcome the things he had to overcome was amazing, So Israel Houghton, he's one of the guys. Like I say, he does worship music. A guy named Ron Canoli is another guy. He's a worship leader, and so those are just my worship music. I say for jazz, I'm a big jazz fan too, and I like a lot of contemporary jazz. So I like an old school contemporary jazz. I would say David Sanborn. David Sanborn is the guy, and you probably won't know this guy because he was before you were born, probably. So David Sanborn and a guy named Andreas Vollenweider. And for soul music, I would say, yeah, Luther Vandross.
You know something? I'm just going to say, right? There's been a couple of guys I've interviewed of a certain era. That's all I'm going to say. A certain era from Irish basketball that have been on the podcast so far that I've recorded for episodes. Luther Vandross, I'm going to say, has shown up in, I'm going to say 60% of people's top 5s of all time.
Really, yeah?
In there, yeah, absolutely. 60% of the time people have gone on Luther Vandross.
Oh, very good. Well, he came in an era there when, if you were dating, he helped things go a lot smoother,
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. Look, we'll leave it at that just for now.
We'll leave it at that. We'll definitely leave it at that.
Once we get off air, we can continue this conversation. We're trying to keep this PG as close.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you're the DJ. We're warming up. What are the last 3 songs we listen to before we head to the beach?
Oh, geez. Geez. Like the last 3 songs. Okay, I would definitely say Israel. Not now that things are PG, 100% PG. It would be Israel Hope, man, because he keeps it clean. He keeps it clean for me. And my perspectives changed, a lot since then. And what things that inspire me and motivates me has changed quite a bit. So Israel Houghton and the guy, one of his songs called "You Hold My World in Your Hands," and so he's one of the guys that inspires me. As far as saying that God holds the world in, our destinies in His hands if we listen and follow and encourage and inspires us. So that's one thing I would say that would be one song. Another guy, Ron Canoli, the other worship guy leader, he would be a song called "Majesty," and then the last one would be David Sanborn and the jazz player. He plays the saxophone, and the song will be called Carly's Song. And
afterwards.
Yeah, so those will be the top 3. Those will be the top 3 for me.
Love it. So you've been in Ireland since 1992?
92.
Wow.
That's
So,
almost 30 years.
so you've spent more time this side of the pond than you did back home.
Yes.
Which can be said for most of the Americans who ended up staying here. I remember my first year back in 06, I remember the realization Lenny Mack was doing his introduction to the team, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm from Dublin, Georgia, and I'm in Ireland." And it was like a light bulb went off. It was like Lenny went, "I'm actually over in Ireland longer than I lived back home."
Yeah.
It was just that snap. So
Yeah.
you've been here nearly 30 years. Let's go back to 16-year-old Randall Mounts. What advice would, knowing everything you know now, through life, through your adversity, through your injuries, and what's gone on in your life, what advice would you give a 16-year-old you if you could sit down with him right now?
Yeah. Okay. The first thing I would do, I would tell him that when I say PG1, I call it PG1, and that's put God first, man, because I think what I see a lot of decisions that youth are making now, but not just youth, adults too. The pandemic has created a very fearful environment. And I think that if you don't have something inspiring you from within, then the news from social media, the news from television, I think it will leave a lot of people in fear and despair. And you have to have something within to keep you stronger, to motivate you from inside instead of you being motivated from things that are external. So so I would say first thing, PG1. And another thing I would say, learn to starve your distractions. You know what I mean? There's so many things that distract you from whatever you want to do, whatever you want to achieve, whatever you want to accomplish. Starve your distractions, whatever distracting you. But even now, at my age now, there's lots of things that distract me from a lot of the goals and things I'm still setting and still want to accomplish. And so I just have to minimize my distraction, whether it could be social media, whether it can be, I don't watch much television, but just the distraction of social media or doing other things. So I'm learning more to starve my distractions and feed my purpose. So I would tell them to starve your distractions and feed your goals, feed your purpose more than any distractions. And I would say the last would be go after what you want and work for it. Which sounds simple, but a lot of times I think and the people before us probably say the same thing about our generation. They don't want to put in the work. You know what I mean? They're distracted. They're on the laptops all day, playing the computer games all day. But the millennials don't want to put in the work, So that's one thing. Put in the work and go after for what you want.
Solid advice, even now for an adult to listen to.
Yeah.
I mean, they're three things that anybody can take on board right now.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Really good advice. So, believe it or not, we're at our second last question.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. So, dead or alive, 5 dinner guests to Randall's house in the evening. You can have friends, family, or famous. It's your table. Who we sit down to break bread with?
Breaking bread. Who would I break bread with? Dead or alive?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive? Geez, obviously, PG1, I'm going to have to say Jesus. The things that I've seen him experience, knowing that, let's say Judas, as I read about him, knowing that he knows that this guy's going to set him up to be killed, to eat dinner with him, like I said, breaking bread with him, and at the table, and knowing he's going to set you up 3 years later to kill you. That takes courage, that takes courage. And number 2, MLK. Martin Luther King, in the U.S. now they celebrate Black History Month. But I would say him, same thing, a great leadership, bringing peace, impacted the world in a way that was contrary to everybody's thinking, through peace. Peaceful means, so it would be MLK would be the second one I like to speak and have dinner with and break bread with. Who else? My mom. My mom being over here, I had to get. I see her doing, via Zoom or Messenger or whatever. But yeah, but my mom, I would have her come to dinner, and my dad passed, so but my mom would be one, and ex-president of Barack Obama. I would like to get some of his insights and some of the things that he shared with some of his experience that he shared off the television or off media. You know what I mean? And his experience and some of his experience that he won't talk to everybody about. So breaking bread with him, I would like to have a chat with him about that. And I say probably the last one would probably be Gerald Kennedy.
Wow.
Yeah. Gerald Kennedy. Now he's like a brother to me, man, and we've been knowing each other, like I say, for almost 30 years now. But man, the experiences that we share, even now, I'd go over and break bread with him and his son, Carlos. Now his daughter Erica. She's thriving with the music now.
Unbelievably talented.
Yeah, she's doing a lot of good things, and he has I think Carlos is 6 now, but Carlos, he's a little ever ready battery man. Energized, not ever ready, Energizer battery man, and just to see his energy, man, it's very inspiring to see that, and his girlfriend Nat too as well. That I would say compliments him very well. But Jared was one of the guys I would say I would love to have him come to dinner too as well.
That's a great five. That's a great dinner table. So here's a little add-on. What are we eating? What are we having for dinner? Are we gonna order in? What way are we doing this?
I'm a big seafood person, man. I like seafood, man. So it would definitely be some lobster, crabs, maybe some red snapper. That's a fish that it's not very popular here. It's kind of hard to get because it's kind of a Mediterranean type fish. But red snapper, man, lots of veg. I'm kind of simple with veg. I like most veg, broccoli, or to have some asparagus or and pasta. I'm a big pasta man too as well. Now, saying that I'm a big pasta man, I only have about once every 2 weeks because of the diet. You know what I mean? And I don't mean diet, right? Because I think diet, being in my 50s now, I would say diets are no good for me. You just have to try to build a balance. And so I would say pasta, and that would be pretty much it. And I'm big into juicing now. I make my own juices, so I'm big into juicing now. Yeah. So I'm big into juices, and learning about different veggies and herbs and what they do to the body. Most things that I'm doing now is everything anti-inflammatory, because inflammation is the greatest killer, or one of the foundations to getting people sick, and it's inflammation. So I do a lot of juicing to try to stop inflammation in the body from growing in the body.
I wrote a cookbook. I'm a chef now. I wrote a cookbook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wrote a cookbook during the first lockdown. I must send it on to you. I've got some juices and some good seafood recipes as well. So I must forward.
Oh, lovely. Yes, please send them on to me, man, because I love it.
Definitely will.
At least some new ideas,
Yeah. Look, I'll send them on for sure. So we've reached the end. We're at our last question. First things first, I want to say, Randall, I appreciate your time. It's been great to catch up with you. It's been a long time since we sat and spoke. But you know what? Yeah. It feels like yesterday. And like we said off camera, this community of Irish basketball, we're so tight-knit. We're bonded by so many memories and stories and friends in common. And, it's a bond that will never die, and it's a bond that will never break. So I really appreciate you giving up your time, first and foremost. You're looking good, buddy. The $1 million hips hopefully get you back on the court next year. It'd be good to see you back on the court. Hopefully, as a teammate, it'd be even better because, like I said to you off camera, I remember our first training session with Denny, and you dunked on me and made me feel like a little kid. So, at least if I'm playing with you, I know that's not coming my way, so I'm happy. But look, I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. It's been my pleasure, Jago. It's good to see you again, man. You're looking great too as well, man. And I wish you all the best of success, man. And, and all your interviewing, because I know you're gonna have a lot of fun with a lot of the guys that in the past and in the present, and just to see what they're up to and what they're doing and how they're getting they keep on keeping on, which is great,
Exactly. Yeah.
And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity here too as well.
Absolutely. Look, you've done an awful lot over here in your 30 years here, still coaching, still giving back after all this time, you know what I mean? And this was the whole point in this podcast, was to shine a light on people who people don't know about because social media didn't exist.
Yeah.
This is your opportunity, and Rick and the other guys, just sit down and have a conversation. So when people tune in, they go, I've seen that guy. I've walked past him in Blanchardstown Shopping Centre. That's who he is.
Yeah.
I always wondered. And now they hear your story, you know what I mean? And that's why I want to do it. So last question. Who would you like to see on the podcast? Who do you want to hear from?
Ooh. You said you've done Rick already, yeah?
Well, I've done Big Rick.
Done Big Rick. I like to hear Rick. But Lenny Mac, because he's a character. So you get a chance to let me know anything, Rat, please send that interview on to me, because
absolutely,
he's a guy, I love him like a brother too, man, Lenny Mac. And we had some wars too. And also we competed together too as well with Denny, as you know. Yeah. But I remember when I coached Denny, and I took Lenny off him off the floor because he was playing for the other team for about 2 minutes, turning the ball over, So, ready, you better put me back in the game, man. Put me back in the game. I'm ready. Put me back in the game. So I love him to death, man. And Lenny, so if you ever get a chance to interview Lenny, give me a shout and send it on to me, I'll
do my best, because Lenny's one of those guys that seems to have been around forever.
Yeah, exactly. And he probably was.
Hasn't aged.
Not at all, man. I don't know how he does it, man. What people don't realize, he's the winningest guy in the history of Irish basketball, because Lenny used to wait till the last second, see who the team is good, and then play for that team, and then win a cup with them. As far as winning cups wise, he's probably the most cup winningest foreign player that came over here.
We need to get him into the Hall of Fame. That's my mission. My mission for 2021, 22 is to get Lenny Mac into the Basketball Ireland Hall of Fame, where he belongs.
Exactly.
Randall, again, appreciate your time. Thanks, brother, and hopefully I'll see you on the court soon.
All right, thanks, Jago. Listen, have a good one, buddy. Appreciate it, buddy.